Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me for part 2 of the reading series I'm doing for the case of Denisha Montgomery-Smith. If you haven't already done so, check out part 1. That is the opening oracle reading I did, and I give in-depth information about what happened, okay? I also have linked articles in the description box so you can also see what's going on with this case. All right, so let's get started. I have 8 questions that I wrote up as soon as I finished up the opening oracle reading. I felt compelled to write the questions down, so I did, or I typed them out, I should say. All right, Spirit. Gotta shuffle this one up, and then I want to work with this one for just a sec. Did someone other than Denisha cause her death? Did someone other than Denisha cause her death? We have the Sun. This is an affirmative card of yes. Yes. So in Tarot, there's affirmative, negative, and then like cards that kind of denote either or energy. This is a yes or an affirmative of that indeed someone else aside from herself caused her death. Okay. I want to just check in with the oracle for a moment. Yeah. So Spirit is the saying there's 2 people depicted here. It could be her and then someone else who had a hand in causing her demise, or it could be 2 people involved. In part 1, I felt strongly that there's like a couple of people involved in this situation. All right. So that answers that question right off the bat. And I wanted to know that clearly before we proceeded on with the rest of the reading. All right. So next up, we want to know, is there a cover-up happening, and how deep does it go? Spirit, is there a cover-up, and how deep does it go? Is there a cover-up? Yeah. Another affirmative card. Yes. Public recognition is associated with this. Someone wanting a solution to a growing problem. Let's see how deep it goes. How deep does this cover up go? Okay, 8 of Fire. Wow, it's a progression. 9 of Power. So 9 of Fires, 8 of Fire, 9 of Fire. There's a deepening progression. It runs a bit deep here. It's not just the parties who are involved directly. It also involves those who have a vested interest in keeping this under wraps, which could be like the people who are the superiors over those who are involved. Okay. Look at that. I shuffled this deck thoroughly last night. Because I wanted to I like to shuffle my decks. First of all, it's like therapeutic for me. And second of all, I just like to make sure that when we're doing another reading, the cards are nice and shuffled. I get a sense that this runs definitely deeper than just the parties directly involved. There's a vested interest in making sure that limited information is shared or released to the public because someone in a high position could be compromised. Their careers could be in jeopardy. So it's not just involving the people who actually had a hand in it, it also involves those who are directly above them. And thereby, they try to make this a national security issue, that we don't want it to get out, that we don't have complete control over a situation, is what I'm hearing in my head here, what's whispering here. Power. This is an interesting key word to this card. Nine of Fire is traditionally Nine of Wands. This is a Thoth, like it's a combo between a Thoth and a Rider-Waite-Smith based type of deck, the New Era Elements Tarot. And so it's interesting to me that power is the key word. This is saying persons in power, persons who are public facing. Soldiers or military police are not necessarily public facing. There's someone above them that is. It could be what, a colonel, a commanding officer. I'm trying to draw from my experience of when I used to be a claims adjuster for quite a few years for an insurance company that catered to the military. I became very familiar with the enlisted and the officers and the colonels who needed to insure their homes, their lives. And the insurance company I worked for catered to military. So anyways, I got very acquainted with what they were going through. So it's interesting to me. It's just interesting to me. Blackmail or extortion. This came up in last night's opening oracle reading. This card and then emotional blackmail came up with the Divine Shadow Self Oracle. And so there's someone who was pressuring her, putting her under pressure to cover this up. Oh, you're partying with them. You're complicit. You're a part of this. But that's speaking to that element of this situation. But it's also speaking to people close to the situation, but ranking up, like going up the ranks. But they're using this situation like, oh, well, you are just as complicit, Denisha, and you're part of this. So if you go and tell, you're going to compromise your future. You're going to compromise the future of this person who's public facing. And that is a compromise to national security. For me, I keep hearing like, this is something that will affect national security. We can't let this out. We can't let this information out. That's interesting. Thank you, Spirit. All right. Let's move on to the next question. Why did the officers attack her in the car? Why did they attack her in the car on the day that they went to the water park? Something that would normally be fun. Let your hair hang down, have some fun. What was that about? What was that about? So the first card that had fallen into my lap was 5 of Water. It says disappointment. 5 of Water is traditionally 5 of Cups. Then we have 10 of Air, 10 of Swords, destruction. Whoa. Some emotional turmoil, letdowns, disappointments, setbacks, being confronted emotionally, an emotional confrontation with this card, an emptiness with this drought and the fish dying here, and destruction. They wanted to destroy her. They wanted to intimidate her. Look at these birds back here. Look at these vultures sitting back here, waiting and watching, wanting to pick her apart because she wasn't going along with the program. She didn't want to go along with the program. It's pretty short. Spirit, Why did the military officers attack her? Wow. It's like backstabbing. Why did they attack her? Now, I'm going to go all the way across the room to get this card. I'll be right back. Ooh. Oh my God, you guys. I can't make this shit up. Cover up. Why did they attack her? That's too many. Thank you, Spirit, though. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I want to move these over so we make room. Wow. Denisha, thank you for talking with us today because I feel your presence, my love. I feel you. I feel you. Okay. Knife or stabbing. This could be literally like a threat with a weapon or the threat of weapon of words since it's, you know, we've got the 10 of swords energy here. It also could be that, you know, what caused her wounds. I was wondering, how did she have those sharp looking wounds on her body that she showed to her family in the video call? And Spirit is giving us some information here. So 3 weeks prior to her death, there was something going on. Somebody also feeling betrayed and let down by her wanting to come forward and come to light and have a new beginning. For her to walk away from this painful situation, this painful ending of sorts, she was going to have to move forward with some information and reveal what was in a cover up. So they couldn't have that. They were intimidating her. They were intimidating her. That's what this is what this is speaking to. They were intimidating Denisha. Now, let's talk about what secrets does she have? Because in the opening oracle reading last night, we saw that Denisha had some information, some secrets. Ooh. We have 10 of fire, 10 of wands, another 10. Burdened by some secrets. What's the nature of her secrets? What's the nature of her secrets? She has secrets. Okay. We have 5 of fire, 5 of wands in reverse. The key word on this card is conflict. So information about something going on that was trying to be kept under wraps. She was burdened by this secret. This secret was a burden to her. She needed to release it. She needed to let it come out. And as a result, that led to what has happened to her. Okay? She needed to let it come out. Spirit, can you give us some more insights into this secret? Somebody's targeted. Maybe this is another victim. There was victims coming up in the oracle reading last night, and I thought it was just speaking only to Denisha. But I'm wondering now if it's speaking to someone else. Someone else who is going through something that's involved in this situation. I also got a sense that somebody had information on, like she had information on someone who was going through something. It says natural causes, health issues. And I was thinking like, was somebody expecting a baby, or there was something going on with that? Somebody being intimidated, maybe another victim. oppression. Let me know in the comment section what you think that the Ten of Fire is speaking to with this oppression card. Someone being oppressed, multiple people being targeted, a targeted victim. She didn't want to participate. She didn't want to be a part of this. She didn't want to be a part of this gang mentality of oppressing others, and she wasn't going to go along to get along. That's not what she was going to do. She'd rather take on the good cause, the good fight, and move past fear. But there were people around her who are in fear. They are going along with the gang mentality because they are fearful for their lives. They're fearful for their livelihood. They're fearful for retribution, and they just don't want any problems. So they go ahead and they engage and allow targeted behavior towards people who are vulnerable. That's basically what it is. It has something to do with people. At first I was like, well, is it money? Is it like military secrets? No, it is. And it's interesting here. All of these are females. So it's female oppression. Secrets as it relates to female oppression. All right, Spirit, what next? So she was going to reveal this. She was going to reveal the attack about herself and go into detail about the mounting pressures she was under, and that she was at a close end to this. She was going to be done with carrying that burden and releasing that burden. And they knew it, and they knew that their futures were at stake. They being a couple of key players, two key players. How long has Denisha been dealing with this issue? How long has she been dealing with this issue? Okay, wow, a long time. Eight of Earth, circumspection. How long has she been dealing with this? She's been dealing with it a while. September, now I believe, if my memory serves me correct, she joined or enlisted in 2021, but I can't remember if it was June or something like that of 2021 when she first joined the military. But it was shortly thereafter. September is of a key month. September is of a key month to this case, that she was dealing with this, seeing things, witnessing something that was years in the making. Years in the making. She just came in at the tail end of whatever was going on. But this wasn't something that sparked just when the attack happened in July of 2022, July 19th. No. This was something that was percolating and going on for years prior to her coming aboard. But for herself personally, September is of key timing here. Of course, September could speak to other time frames as it relates to this case. We have 2 to 4 people, small, intimate group. She was witnessing something going on. Devil in disguise, trickster, manipulator, hiding in the shadows. It's one of the key players' energies here. Theft, thief, robber, or mouse. So this person is someone who takes things that don't belong to them, and that could also include taking something from someone that is of value, and that could be something related to their person, taking something that doesn't belong. It constantly, this person's not good, the ringleader. And so these 2 cards could even speak to one person, or it could speak to 2 people. Devil in disguise, trickster, manipulator, hiding in the shadows. That person. 2 to 4 people she knew about. And theft, thief, robbery, or robber, mouse. So this is someone who actually goes out and executes what this devil in disguise wants to happen. So she had been dealing with this for a while, these issues. And it just started to culminate into, I can't take it anymore with the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands, she was like, I'm done. I'm releasing these burdens. I'm walking away from this. I am going back home. I thought this was the path for me to join the military and to carve out a better life for my family. This ain't it. And so something about September is key. Okay, thank you, Spirit. I wanted to just touch on briefly, aside from these issues, what was her life like in Germany? What was her work life or her life? What was it like, Spirit? Judgment. Constantly being analyzed, evaluated, and that makes sense. This is her work life. But when this Judgment card is interesting to me, right? It's someone staring in the mirror and it's broken. The mirror is broken. The mirror is broken. Let's just sit with that for a moment and think about it. She could have felt broken by this experience. And sometimes with what I hear from those who are in the United States military is they want to break you down and then build you up, and that this is part of the culture. That's that. The mirror is broken. There's something to be said about that type of culture being broken, not healthy for the human body and human mind. This is also, too, if you're just looking at it innocently enough, you are being judged. This was her work life. Whether we like it or not, when we're working, we are evaluated and, there's performance reviews and there's metrics to meet. And so this is what she felt, this sense of pressure of being judged, but not just judged by her superiors, but judged by her peers. She felt unwanted and like undervalued. It says unloved, unwanted. And interestingly, with this card, there's a pregnancy test here. Now, like I said, I'm not getting a strong energy. It's her. It's someone else that may have been vulnerable or who may have been expecting. I don't feel like it's her. It's not her. I feel like that would have also come up in the autopsy, right? It's not her. It's someone else. But that aside, we're just answering the question, what was her life like in Germany? She didn't necessarily feel valued and loved. When you work for a company or an organization and you are rocking it out and you are being celebrated as an employee, your colleagues love you and value you, your bosses love you and value the upper echelons of the company or organization appreciate you. You feel loved, you feel wanted, you feel valued, you feel seen. She wasn't feeling seen in this whole thing. And so it made it easier for her to say, you know what, I'm going to tell it like it is and I'm going to walk away. But that put her in a place of high risk of her life. All right, now we're going to ask about what's next in the investigation. What's next in the investigation, Spirit? Oh, Temperance. I want one more card, Holy Spirit, thank you. What's next in the investigation as it relates to, oh my God, I'm gonna chill, there was the Hierophant. What's next in the investigation surrounding her death? We got Temperance. This is a harmony and a balancing force. It's a positive card, as is the Father of Earth. It's good that her family is speaking out and pursuing the truth in this situation. They're going up against, though, something that almost feels impossible, to get the military to take her case seriously. They have to continuously, try to balance out the scales of justice, because it's so tipped in the army and the military's favor to just squash it and move on. But I do sense that over years, timing, years, Father of Earth is traditionally the King of Pentacles. For me, the King of Pentacles represents the timing. It could be upwards of 14 years. Hopefully it does not take that long at all. Hopefully it's within 14 years, or this is just speaking to the timing of years of unfoldment for justice. But I do sense with these two cards that we'll see some form of justice, whether it's civilly or criminally. I would prefer both. However, it's not for my preference. It is for what the universe sees fit, what Spirit Divine sees fit. But I do sense that this is also about bringing about some sense of justice and harmony and balance for those who come in after Denisha. With this card. They are contending, the family, it's this false accusations, with the fact that it came out, her cause of death was suffocation at her own doing. And to me, that's what this is speaking to. This is a false accusation based on what I'm seeing in all of these cards here. Now, some people could say, well, the false accusation is towards these other military police officers who have not been named or identified in the public. Wow. What's next in the investigation? I sense that what's next is slow-moving energies surrounding this case. The Wheels of Justice is going to be, it's going to take a while to see justice out of this case, to be honest. But I think I commend the family for pursuing it and continuing to pursue this, and I encourage them to do so, do whatever it takes, because Denisha deserves justice. To mar her reputation and to say that she took her own life without thoroughly investigating this case is just, it's a travesty of justice, and it can't be. And I then start to think about all the other people who have died at the hands of, others in the military, and these people, these perpetrators have gotten away with it. And that it's just this environment that fosters this way of being, and it's just not okay. It is a national security in the sense that nobody's going to want to join the military if you're going to be treating the men and women who serve our country in this manner. You don't even protect them. You don't foster an environment where they can feel safe, to raise issues. And when they do raise issues, that they're protected and not re-victimized. It is a national security issue. It is. It's 100%. We have physical altercation. Wow. That certainly was the case, right? That was certainly the case. The 3 weeks prior to her death, and she was lured. What's going to come out is that whole trip to the water park was orchestrated to lure her out, kind of butter her up, and then someone kind of like, trying to test the waters to see where her head is at. See if they could then also kind of, sexually assault her, or kind of see what she will tolerate. And when they realized she wasn't the one, all hell broke loose. And a physical altercation ensued in the car ride on the way back to the barracks. That's going to come out. Now, some people could say that maybe the military police officers, who were involved in that physical altercation, were falsely accused or is falsely accused. I don't sense that. I sense what this is speaking to is that they're saying that she took her own life. That's what I believe in my heart and soul. I don't believe that she took her own life. But, we could be stood corrected here. Sir, is there anything else you wish to share about what's to come? Something happening January is of importance to this case. Something developing, more information coming out in January. And then we have this, we're buried. Something being suppressed. Finding out some kind of evidence was buried. Witness statements buried. Yeah, buried. Just having to unearth something. Having to unearth something. But January is of significance to this case. That could be a major development that comes out. Maybe taking this case on to the next level. This investigation to the next level happening in January. It could also signal, just like September could too. It can signal that someone, that's vitally connected to this case, their birthday month, or something associated with that person themselves. But yeah, January is of significance, and we're going to learn about something being buried or something being unearthed as it relates to this case. Okay, the truth being buried, an actual weapon being buried, the truth being buried. And then we're going to learn that this is a culture of constantly suppressing and burying things. All right. Okay. A couple of things I did want to do before we wrap up. I have one more question, and it's going to be about, will we see justice, and if so, when? We already kind of talked about it here with the Father of Earth. But I did want to get some clues on the perpetrators, some traits or characteristics of the perpetrators. Facial hair, so we have a male. Okay. What's interesting to me, it says walking abnormality. Now, in the military, from what I understand, they are like really picky on who they allow to be in it in terms of physical attributes. But this could be someone who's like slightly pigeon-toed, bow-legged. Maybe they sustained an injury and now they're on some sort of medical leave. Because I remember I'm flat-footed, and there was a time where I thought, when I was 18, I thought I was wanting to join the Air Force. Like, I can't even believe that was something I sat down with the recruiter and this and that. I can't believe I did that. But nevertheless, I remember it being kind of a concern and an issue that I was flat-footed. So this card coming up is a walking abnormality. It could be just someone who is bow-legged or pigeon-toed, or now they have some sort of walking abnormality, but when they first joined, they didn't. And someone with facial hair. I'm using my defining characteristics oracle, by the way, on this one. All right, anything else, Spirit, about the characteristics, attributes, or traits? Physical traits. Oval face. Light skin. Could be someone light skin, like who's like African American, or maybe Latino, or who's fair skinned, or it could be a Caucasian person who's light skinned. Someone with facial hair. It also, this is a woman depicted here. So remember in the reading, I feel like there's a male perp and a female who is complicit or aiding and abetting. And there's other people too that are kind of around. We saw that with the Ten of Air, the Ten of Swords. We see that with the vultures all here. That they're aware. They have their roles to play as well. Okay, what was this one? Spirit wanted to affirm woman. Yes, there's a male, heavy male influence in this situation. But there's a woman. There's a woman. Probably the woman who tried to chokehold her in the car on the way from the water park. Ugh. Trifling. Trifling, trifling, trifling. you would think the sisterhood of women would be strong and tight in such a situation as in the military. And here they are, part of the misogyny of it all. All right, so next and last question. Will we see justice? Will we see justice? Spirit, will we see justice? I sense that we will. But, you know, sometimes it's just comforting to see what Spirit has to say to the actual question. Will we see justice? The Fool card is an affirmative card of yes. There are possibilities. And for us to remain optimistic, but we got to pursue this. The Fool card is an invitation to not accept the status quo, to just push through and to get Denisha's story out there. It's really upsetting to think about that she was hurt and attacked and that she was actually going to come forward with the truth, and people want to bury it and suppress it. And so we have to raise the alarm on that and let it be known of what happened to her so that she gets justice and so that it doesn't happen again. Because let me tell you folks, that is unacceptable to treat people the way that she was treated and others have been treated in the military and allowed to be treated that way. They have a culture of that. So we have to embark on that. The Fool card though is encouraging. We get more of a sense of timing with the Father of Earth, that it's going to be years in the making, but it can, you know, the Fool card also signifies January 21st to February 20th. January, remember January, something of significance happening during that time period, okay? So we don't want to lose sight of that and lose hope. We have to keep hope. This is about keeping the faith. But we have to rail against the status quo. Oh, excuse me. You have to rail against it. So is there anything else you want to share about that before we wrap up? Dark energies and crime of passion. The Spirit, again, it's like this is not military secrets being revealed. The secret is dealing with people's lust getting out of control and dark energies. Dark energies could mean a multitude of things. It could be just darkness surrounding the situation, you know, trying to keep things in the dark. It also could mean some form of ill intent at levels that prevent the truth from coming to light. It also could indicate some other dark kind of magic. It really can denote things that are of darkness as it relates to crimes of passion. Okay. So they have to unearth that. It is important. It is important. So I'm going to clear, you know how I like to do. I like to take a picture of the cards. I like to organize them, and I will do that. I want to hear from you all. Leave me a comment on what you think is going on here. Have you heard about Denisha's story? Can you do me a favor and share about it, whether you share about the articles on social media, whether you share these readings that I've done. It doesn't matter if you share my readings or not. It just, what matters most is if you raise awareness surrounding what happened to her. Undoubtedly, someone hurt her on July 19th, and no one has answered for that. Not from what I can see. And the military is allowed to not be transparent because of the nature of what the military is. But as a people, we're allowed to demand more from our government, and we need to exercise that. And she deserves justice, and she deserves not to just sit up here and be, you know, swept under the rug as someone who took her own life. Not, you know, if that's the case, if it turns out that she did take her own life, okay, we'll deal with that. However, I'm not sensing that with this reading, and I want to hear from you. Are you sensing that? Is this what you feel happened? Let me know. Let's talk about it. I'm open to all different insights and opinions. Just be respectful is all I ask. Be respectful to the victim, be respectful to their family, be respectful to each other and to me. That's it. And you all are. Thank you for being that way. I love y'all for that. Do me a favor on your way out. Please hit the like button and subscribe. I love having you all join so you can stay in the loop of what other cases I'm working on, as well as other types of things I talk about on the channel. You know, spirituality, collecting decks, working with the tarot and learning how to work with the tarot and oracle. That's what I like to share on this channel. And I always ask my peeps, whether it's through surveys or through just leaving comments, what would you like to see in the future on the channel? This is a community here. All right, friends, take very good care of yourselves, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.